Well, universe, how you been? It is the 24th, I do believe. It is the 24th. We're in the post-noon hour. You know what? I have not blown my nose. Hold on, pause. Unpause. We're just completing the list. Got my nose blown and all, but, taking care of everything else. Okay. So, a funny thing happens when you try to tell humans that they don't love themselves enough, or that there's room for them to have deeper self-love toward every aspect of their life. They immediately get defensive, because of course they do. Anytime you tell anybody that they're not sufficient at blank, oh God, I'm coughing, sorry, as if to prove in real time, I thought as I hit the record button, you should probably have a sip of fluid because you are about to cough. Oh no, I can hold that off. Well, we're all susceptible to not listening to our better half. And I think we're doubly susceptible to reinforcing the expectations of ourselves that have been placed on us through a variety of life circumstances. So, rather than being nebulous on this, what I thought I would try to do is attack it from an exact example. And that example will be, yeah, but. So let me blow my nose again, because all of a sudden that seems to be something I need to do. So I'm going to take care of that, and I'll be back. Okay. So why do I want to talk about yeah, but? In my life, for the most part, when I hear in my head, or I say out loud to the group, yeah, but, what I'm doing is admitting that my work is secondary, or that there is something about it that a better or more polished attack or presentation or outcome would have superseded. But instead, well, we'll just roll with what we got. It's a constant attention to diminishing your own achievements. And say what you will, but aggrandize or giving your achievements some level of inflation above what they truly are is just as evil, if not more so. So erring on the side of being self-deprecating, well, that's what us advanced peoples do. And I can listen to that. I can even agree with it. There is a level of self-deprecation built into everyone that is humility, humble activity, realize that it matters. But that isn't a yeah, but. That's a realization that one's achievements are what they are. What you're capable of doing is what you're capable of doing. What you bring to the table that you can actually move forward is what you should move forward. Not everyone gets the same skill set. Not everyone sees the world the same way. Not everyone is gifted the same insight as to what can be solved and how to solve it. The idea that there are 7 billion of us is the idea that there could be 7 billion different directions at which to look at something. But solving something, creating a solution to anything, whether it be done with zip ties or the Z-force of the undiscovered graviton's movement, doesn't matter. You're solving things. Wait, it's trash day. Whew, okay, well, I did manage to get my trash out, which, given the fact that it's afternoon, means I should have failed, but someone's shining down on me. But that noise you hear is because a tree that got destroyed is now being truly destroyed. So we'll get back to this in a minute. All right. Well, that was quick. It's only been about a minute. So the tree guys cleaned up fast. Now let me catch up and be right back. All right. Okay. So things that can make yeah, but very insidious include how often it comes out when we've succeeded. Yeah, but... Okay. And are there legitimate reasons to include a yeah, but in your solution? Well, sure. You turn on a nuclear power plant in the island of Japan, and you happen to know that you've done this over the resting place of Godzilla, and nuclear power is what turns Godzilla on, so you turn on the power plant, and as everyone's breaking a champagne bottle over thermoreactor number 3, you say, yeah, but we might have woken up Godzilla. Okay? There's a legitimate yeah, but. But for the most part, your yeah, buts are not of the, but everybody should be still concerned because though we may have solved problem number 1, we may have created problem number 2, variety. Yeah, but. And it's my personal belief that if you're seeing yourself succeeding, focus on your successes, roll downhill with the things that are working, and the yeah buts work themselves out. Like say you finally commit to mental memory a piece of music. You can play it without looking at the sheet music anymore. But because you don't have the sheet music patterning in front of you, there's that chord progression in the middle third that you bring in late. And so now that you've committed it to memory, it's not a, yeah, but by doing so, I kind of fuck up the third chord progression. I bring my hand in late. Instead of saying, having committed it all to memory, I now have just one more place to work, which is that third chord progression, which without the sheet music, I'll need to commit to progressing in real time in my head so that I'm not late on it, because the rest of it I've got committed to memory. That's an easier way to get through a solution all the way to the end than to hold yourself accountable to something midstream that holds you back from realizing the successes that you are on. So I know these are subtle ways in which people interact. But when I hear over and over again someone diminish their own rates of success, their own solutions to the problems, their own working aggregated outcomes of, well, yeah, no, I think that's great. I love the way you did that. And I think it's very inventive. Bravo! Well, to me, that matters. So, when you're having a success, to have something that actually enters the lexicon to make you feel worse about that, well, I mean, that's fucked up, right? Why would we knock ourselves down in the midst of our successes? So, why we do that is we've been trained to do that. And I don't know if it's the competitive nature of always thinking there's somebody solving something smarter than us, but who cares? You solved it. What you gave to the universe was the idea of progressive intellectual development and solving problems through analytical reasoning and applications therein, all of which is clever. All of it. So to think that there was more clever to be had than the clever that you came up with, oh, how much self-abuse can you take? Really? You solved the problem. Bravo. Oh. So the learned behaviors come from what? Well, schools, number 1. No doubt churches. I would claim that sports are a way of reinforcing that. Not necessarily, what do I think about athletic competition? What do I think about Flag Day? Do I think Flag Day is the ultimate meat grinder of submission to that which is bigger, faster, stronger than you? Or do I think it celebrates those among us who are truly gifted with athletic ability that stands out? There's a level of both. And perhaps the achievement of the pure athlete in our midst is something that will never be anything other than that which we admire as a society. Though we won't speak it well, we will admire it. All civilized folk appreciate those among us who are the biggest, strongest, fastest. It just is. It's a part of the grace of appreciation that comes with looking at someone else and seeing how much of you they have superseded in what they can do. It's, I don't know, watching those of us that are the best at what they do, doing what the best it is that they are at. I don't care if it's the Olympics and some curling episode or the downhill bobsled. I get infatuated by it. So somewhere I think it's built into us to just be competitive. So I don't know if, yeah, but isn't inevitable. But if it is inevitable, well then, like many other inevitable ways of looking at yourself and feeling bad about yourself, limit it. Tamp it down. Don't let it take anything other than the creative other side voice that needs to be heard, so that you critically think something through all the way through, instead of just blasting ahead with one side of a problem solved while not even considering what the other solution outcome problems being created might be. Those yeah buts are there for a reason. But other than that, the self-diminishing ones, well, do get rid of them. And I mean, think about when you were 9, how many yeah buts did you have in your life? You hadn't learned how to do that yet. You might have had them while you were thinking through the way to climb down out of the tree that you had climbed up. Yeah, but if I go that way, I'm going to put all my weight on that skinny little branch, and I don't remember putting all my weight on that skinny little branch coming up. I don't know if that little branch is going to hold me coming down. Maybe those yeah buts started early. But for me, they started more like at science fairs, or during Flag Day, or frankly when report cards came out. Yeah buts started because other people started telling us which ones of us were more valuable than other ones. And in a world full of equal value, those yeah buts all felt wrong. So building it into the social the social fabric of society today, it almost feels natural. If you're not giving me a yeah but, are you really thinking through things? Are you being ultimately considerate? Did you give yourself enough leniency to think maybe you weren't the solving of the problem that was the right solving of the problem? That maybe this yeah but was for a reason? Yeah, I know, we talk ourselves into all ways to think that we're just not good enough. We're not enough. We're not enough of a winner to deserve all of it. So I'm talking about the very nuanced levels at which people will diminish themselves. I'm not talking about self-loathing. I'm not talking about the positions in which people look at themselves in the mirror and think they're not making it all work out. You probably do. But you still have a level at which you don't love yourself completely, without any level of consequence or concern about what it means to be completely and totally your biggest fan. And so when I see these actions in nature, when I see them in my friends, when I see them in patterns of behavior that even I can't help but partake, well, I try to point them out. And to me, yeah, but is part of the lexicon that I've removed from my own response patterning, because it's always something that's just making me make excuses. Something that's making me diminish myself, or something that's keeping me from holding back on something that I've truly already solved and it can move forward now. A lot of life doesn't need to be 100% A+. Getting something B+, or even B-, but getting it done and moving on, yeah. No but. So, let me take a break because I got something else to talk about. I'll be right back, but we won't be talking about yeah buts anymore, unless, of course, they're legit. But most of them aren't, so get them out of your world. Unpause. Okay. Sorry. What I also wanted to talk about was crossing lines. And I understand that... Uh-oh. All right, let's see how far we can go. On literally the smallest sip of fluids available, plus one blow of the nose, maybe I'm okay. And what I mean by crossing lines is, I think we set ourselves up with expectations of roles, of actions, activities, outcomes, whatever it may be. We like to have already established how things are, will be, should certain things become, whatever. As you learn to find some level of peace within the rigidity of structured action, behavioral outcome expectations, well, to me, you've lost something that is humanity. You've traded in what is comfort for what is innovation. But so what does this have to do with crossing lines? If you're someone who feels better with lines drawn, then you will find yourself drawing lines for yourself. Clearly. This isn't necessarily something you would disagree is appropriate behavior. In fact, I think people who like to draw lines around behavioral expectations are the people who think without doing so, you're letting behavior explode into an area in which it doesn't make sense, in which the outcomes are unpredictable, ridiculous, and frankly counterproductive in the majority of the time. Okay, well, so humans are drawn toward an outcome that is chaotic. Well, I followed that line. I wanted to go down that path. I wanted to be chaos. I wanted to feel the outcome of anarchy. I let a delusional schizophrenic who just walked in my back door basically take over my life for 4 years. And if that's not the definition of inviting and embracing anarchy, the tyranny that comes with having no idea what the next second means compared to the one that you're currently living, well, it was in this pursuit of psychosis that I came to understand how sane I truly am and how psychotic the world around me can be. And I don't pretend that crossing a line like, would you allow a delusional schizophrenic into your living situation for the next 4 years of your life? Is that something you have the time or energy to permit? I would hope not. I would really hope not. Having been down that road personally, I would definitely hope not. But I needed to cross some lines. I needed to find a space in which there was real interaction between broken parts before I could establish just how resolved and fit I was. I'm a new me for having faced and crossed lines that I didn't really think I would ever be near, let alone challenging in some capacity of real life, like I did with Lily. So, watching myself cross a few lines as I left my last job, I guess, should I have crossed more? Because those that I did have returned in big ways unexpected value that, well, I'm proud of, I guess. Am I proud of it? It's more that my intuition served me well. Could it have served me better? Maybe. And so now, having felt that there is a level of connection that I can truly depend on, being sixth sensey, but when it's there, it's real. Well, maybe I need to act on that more often. Maybe I need to be more open to the realization that that if you hurt and I feel it, it's probably real. So, crossing lines is a behavior that we frown upon because, well, it's by its very nature going against what we've established as the norm. And yet, I believe if I were to name the next album of my now, well, after this 9 to go episodes, after iKudB.Rite, Well, crossing lines might be the next direction to take it. Because honestly, that's really what having all this free time has prohibited or has permitted me to do, is to cross whatever line I feel like. Today is Monday, the 24th of April. It is now 12:47 p.m. And I can do whatever the fuck I want with the rest of my day. I haven't shaved in 2 weeks. I look like I just gave up on hygiene whatsoever, so I'll probably do that. But that's about how structured my day is. So there are no lines. It's a weird position to be flying that solo in your day, in your outcome, in what's next. But it's literally up to you 100%. Without a single line to draw, there's not a single line to be crossed, because there is no such thing. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And I don't know if I needed this level of self-involvement. I don't know if I'd been choked off while I was at my last job, but this freedom, this ability to be exactly what I need to be in the moment. Well, it's given me a few true head starts on some problems that I'd had for at least this entire year, if not longer. So, jumping out of the frying pan and into whatever's down there, well, it's worked out for me. And I guess I knew that I needed to do this. I knew that I needed to cross this line, that I needed to get out from underneath the expectation that it is to be at the same position that you were this time last year, doing the same thing for the same reasons that even you can't identify. Well, that felt wrong. So stopping it, I did. Now I have a few things to do. And I'll keep you clued in as to what they are, because with only 9 episodes to go on things that could be right, well, I think I owe you 9 things I think I'm right about. And I'm definitely right about needing to do some yard work. So, between now and the next episode, I'm going to go do some yard work. I'll fill you in on what that project is next. I know, tantalizing, isn't it? I think I once said, could I be blamed for this? Probably. But if you're a podcast, which we aren't, but if we were, what would we be trying to do? Make interesting content. Well, what's more interesting than talking about yard work? I don't know. You tell me.